馬車迎えに来るの迎えに来るのね誰かが私を連れて行くのね白い花の道へ風のふるさとへ連れて行くのね連れて行くのね
Our story is set in the year 1870, where we find a young orphan girl with flaming red hair on Prince Edward Island in Canada. Her name is Anne Shirley. She's found a new home with Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert, despite the fact that the Cuthberts had asked for a young boy who could help them with their farm work at Green Gables. From the first moment, Anne was entranced with Green Gables. She fell in love with everything here, the house, the picturesque surroundings, the trees and the plants. She'd always dreamt of such a house. Anne thinks the Cuthberts are going to take her back to the orphanage. Little does she realize that Marilla has decided she can stay at Green Gables. Marilla feels sorry for the young girl, and she simply cannot face shattering Anne's dream. Nevertheless, Marilla has put off telling her the good news. She wants to observe Anne before she takes on the awesome responsibility of taking care of this unusual girl.
Oh, please, Mrs. Cuthbert, please won't you finally tell me? Must I go back to the orphanage or not? Please, I've tried so hard to be very patient, but I can't keep it up any longer.
My girl, I told you to rinse the dishcloth in warm water after you'd washed up. Please see to it right away before you ask any other questions. Thank you. I think I can put your mind at ease now. After some thought, Matthew and I have decided that we shall keep you here with us. And now you must promise to be a good girl and well-behaved, and to do as we say. What's wrong? Why are you crying, child?
I don't know, I just can't help it. Although I'm so incredibly happy, I simply cannot stop myself from crying. Oh dear, if only I could describe it to you. I wish I knew how to express such feelings. What's more, I thought of the White Way of Delight. And of the beautiful Snow Queen. And of the Lake of Shining Waters. Mrs. Cuthbert, I promise to become a really good girl. I'm sure it's going to take an enormous effort to achieve that. But I'll try very hard and I'll work my fingers to the bone. Mrs. Cuthbert, do you have any idea why I'm still crying like this?
Because the excitement of the past few days has become too much for you. And because you were so diligent this morning, you've nearly exhausted yourself. Nevertheless, you should really take hold of yourself and try to calm down. You're a very emotional little thing and laugh and cry easily. Yes, my child, you may stay here with us and help us in our daily tasks. But it's very important for you to attend school. Of course, the summer holidays are upon us and it would make little sense to send you to school now. So we shall wait until September.
We're so pleased for you, Anne. Come and play with us.
Where are you going now?
I must tell everyone how happy I am to stay here. The Snow Queen certainly doesn't know that yet.
No, wait, Anne.
I'll be back in a minute. Snow Queen, listen here. I may stay here with you forever. Trees in the valley. It's me, Anne. Hello there. Beloved brook and all your little birds. Hello to you all. I'm saying hello to you. Hello there.
Now, where has she gone?
Anne! Bliss, I'm here to stay. La 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 lee. I feel like a queen today. Oh, what happiness has come my way. To stay, I've come to stay. They won't send me away.
Huh?
A decision has been taken. I'm allowed to stay at Green Gables. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that so terribly nice? Mr. Cuthbert! Mrs. Cuthbert said that I don't have to return to the orphanage.
That's good. Very, very good.
Do you realize, everything I babbled about in the buggy after you fetched me from the railway station? Do you remember? It isn't a dream anymore. It's all become real now.
Yes, my dear, I know.
Oh, it's true. It's really, really true.
Yes, believe it now. It isn't a dream anymore. From now on, you belong to Green Gables. You are one of us.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Cuthbert. Thank you very much.
Anne? Anne? Anne, where are you? Where has she rushed off to this time? She's more difficult to control than a bag full of fleas. How does one turn such a young wildcat into a proper young lady? Oh, only time will tell. So far she hasn't given any trouble, so she can stay.
Marilla is rather worried about Anne's future because she feels obliged to educate Anne so that she'll have the correct upbringing. But since she has no experience at all in educating children, Marilla is sometimes too strict, too particular, and at other times too lenient.
May I please pick one of those sprigs?
Yes, if you like.
Thank you. I want to put it in a vase on the dining room table. Oh dear, no.
Where in the world did you go rushing off to this time, Anne? Come on, tell me. I kept calling you quite a few times, in fact.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Cuthbert, but I was enjoying myself immensely. I simply had to share my news with the forest and with the brook. And they were all just as happy about it as I am. Yes. I didn't notice at all how quickly the time was passing.
Of course, I can quite appreciate your concern for your friends, but we still have quite a few matters to discuss with each other, Anne. Didn't you say you'd be coming back immediately? You've greatly disappointed me. Did you wash your feet on the porch? Now wash your hands and you can come and help me to make the tea.
Yes. Mrs. Cuthbert, tell me, what should I call you in future? Should I keep calling you Mr. and Mrs. Cuthbert? Or will you be happy with Aunt Marilla?
I'd rather you called me Marilla. I'm not used to being addressed by people as Mrs. Cuthbert. I find it a bother.
Yes, but to me Marilla sounds so awfully disrespectful, doesn't it?
What is so disrespectful about that? Here in this place, folks have always called me that since I was a child.
But I would prefer it if I were to call you Aunt Marilla. I've never had an aunt. In fact, I've had no relatives at all besides a grandmother once long ago. If I may call you Aunt Marilla, I could always pretend that we were related to each other. What do you think about that? Please, oh please, Aunt Marilla, please say yes.
No, Anne, I cannot agree to that because I am not your aunt. Moreover, it's wrong to pretend, so you'll do nothing of the sort.
But the three of us could easily pretend that we were related. That'd be amusing, wouldn't it?
What would be so amusing about it?
Have you never ever attempted to change what's real into something completely different?
Indeed, I have not.
Oh, you poor thing, then you don't know what fun it is.
I have no time for daydreaming. I'm totally satisfied with what I have and what I am. Come to terms with reality, Anne.
And Matthew? Matthew, may I please be allowed to call you Uncle?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I think I'd prefer it too if you called me Matthew rather than anything else.
Too bad, then.
Don't you want to come with me to take a look at the animals we have here at Green Gables? Come on. Our cats just had kittens.
I'd like to come. I find kittens so charming.
Oh, no, Anne. First you must help me clear the table, and then you'll sit down and take some time to learn your prayers by heart. I don't want a repetition of last night's absurdities.
Yes, that's fine. If I obeyed her now, I could always go and look at the kittens some other time.
Good, I agree. And the cats won't disappear either.
I'll ever have a very best girlfriend here in Avonlea.
What are you saying? What sort of a friend?
A best girlfriend. One to whom I can confide everything. All my most secret thoughts and feelings, those that I couldn't share with anyone else. All my life I have dreamt of having such a close, trustworthy girlfriend someday. And seeing that I cried tears of joy only moments ago, it would be doubly as good if this wish could also come true. Do you think it's possible?
For that, I really think only Diana Barry would be at all suitable. She's your age and a rather lovely young lady. I can imagine that you two would certainly be perfectly suited. At present, of course, she's paying her aunt a visit. It all depends on whether she takes to you or not. Mrs. Barry's an extremely sensible woman. She scrutinises the children who play with her daughter very closely. I think it's a very good idea.
What does Diana look like? I hope she doesn't have red hair as well. That would be so disappointing. It's common knowledge that when your hair's red, you cannot stand it in a friend. I certainly don't want her to have red hair.
Diana is a very pretty little girl. She has beautiful brown eyes and thick pitch-black hair and a healthy rosy complexion. But much more important to me than her features is her soft and amiable nature.
How relieved I am that she is pretty. When you aren't particularly pretty yourself and really know it, which is certainly true in my case, you can at least choose someone who is very pretty as a best friend. Only yesterday I told you that I spent a while with Mrs. Thomas. In her house she had a large bookcase. The bookcase had a glass door. There were no books in it and its sides were broken. The glass had a big ugly crack. Mr. Thomas was a great disappointment when he drank because he was as thirsty as a camel. Anyway, the door was intact and you could mirror yourself in it. I always imagined that my mirror image was another girl, somebody totally different. I gave this mirror girl the name Cathy Morris. We were very good friends to each other. Whenever I had the chance, I went and spoke to her. But then again, I only had the chance on Sundays. Cathy Morris was everything to me. She brought sunshine into my life. We imagined that the bookcase would suddenly become enchanted someday. And we were also sure that I could then open the door and pay a visit to Cathy Morris in this room where she lived if only we knew the magic words. And then Cathy Morris would take me very gently by the hand and transport me to a wonderful country where there were flowers, lots of sunshine, and hundreds of little fairies. And there in this country we both found great happiness and a sense of peace. Then I awakened Mrs. Thomas and Mrs. Hammond with my noise. I had to leave Cathy Morris behind, and that just broke my heart. She was just as miserable as I was, I know that. To this day I remember what she looked like when I gave her a farewell kiss. She was crying. I shall never ever forget her tears.
It's quite unbelievable what you can make yourself believe. I honestly don't know whether I can take all that. You seem to believe these visions that you're constantly dreaming up. It's very strange. It would do you the world of good for once to have a real friend and not one that you're concocting. It's not right. Don't give me such a bewildered stare. Now, please go to the sitting room and fetch the framed copy of the Lord's Prayer. It should be on top of the mantelpiece.
You were very angry about my prayer last night, isn't that so?
No, merely disappointed.
Please don't forget that it was my very first attempt. When I was lying in bed later, I thought of a lovely prayer that you would like. Oh, it was truly poetic. Unfortunately, this morning I couldn't remember a single word of it. I suspect that such a prayer will never come to me again. I've lost it forever.
Listen to me, Anne. I want you to grasp one thing firmly and clearly and never forget it. When I give instructions for you to do something, I expect to be obeyed. Oh, dear.
Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. I find it sounds so pretty. It's almost as good as my own little prayer. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. To me it sounds like music.
Apparently it's absolutely impossible for you not to interrupt yourself. Go to your room. No one will hear you there.
I still wanted to discuss everything in this prayer with you and tell you how much it pleases me.
I am delighted. I'm truly delighted. So if it pleases you, you'll learn the prayer by heart, too.
Really, please, may I take the sprig of blossoms with me?
No, Anne. I don't think flowers belong in a bedroom. As it is, I don't like you breaking off any sprigs.
I'm not too happy about it either. It's not right. Because here in a vase, the flowers will wilt much quicker than outside on a tree where they belong. If I were a sprig, I wouldn't have liked it either if a human were to break me off. But you see, I just couldn't resist the temptation. What can you do when you simply can't resist temptation? Tell me, what can you do?
Didn't I order you a moment ago to go up to your room?
All right. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespassed against us. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. My name is Cordelia Fitzgerald, to be precise, Lady Cordelia Fitzgerald. I'm dressed in a snow-white silk frock, and I'm wearing a white veil over my head. And round my neck is a cross of gold. And the crown that I wear on my head is also made of gold. My hair is coal black as night and shines beautifully. But I can't believe this. It's still just the same red. You are still none other than Anne of Green Gables, with flaming red hair and summer freckles and a lass as thin as a rake. Lady Cordelia, you've never been or never will be. Yes, but it's 1,000 times better to know that I'm now known as Anne of Green Gables and no longer just a nobody called Anne. I'm Anne of Green Gables. I'm Anne of Green Gables. My dearest Diana, please become my best friend.
The next day, Mrs. Rachel Lindy arrived to appraise Anne. She simply couldn't believe that the Cuthberts had decided to adopt a girl and not a boy. From the start, there was little love lost between Anne and Mrs. Lindy. But more about that in our next episode.
夢